Hey, there's Sagittarius. This is Joy with Joy of the World, here to take an intuitive peek into the energies going on around you. Friends and subscribers, welcome back. And if you're new to this channel, be sure you click that subscribe button and ring the bell out beside it. They'll notify you anytime I post new videos. Also, if you find you like the content we provide here at Joy of the World, be sure to give us that big thumbs up, like, and share. Also, leave your comments down below. I'd love to find out what's going on in regards to these readings that you guys are bringing about. Also, thanks to all of you who've given donations. It's sending about some new decks coming up in the next few weeks. We also have the arrival. I wasn't sure if they were, but the arrival of those decks I talked about. I mixed them together to be the Moon Medicine Magic. There's 3 different decks and they're weaving together, and of course they come into the belly of your spread. So Sagittarius, basically it's complicated. That's what you're saying. And what I saw when I was shuffling everything, I wasn't planning on having anything out. I just start shuffling and folding the cards, trying to get a view of what's going on with you guys, of what y'all are trying to bring up, to give it time for the energy to start to move through me from you guys out onto my counter here. And you were talking about no more sad songs, those songs of yesterday, and it's time for your soul song to return. But there's like this jagged edge going on, very much like a tug of war, except it's a jagged edge. It's almost like more than decelerating, it's like stepping down from things and feeling like wanting to regulate and kind of wanting to control, which is quite strange because you tend to look free and flowy and let's go about and embrace and philosophy and flow and flow and flow. Just, like a sparkler, like a firefly, something that's very enigmatic and beautiful. But here there's some internal goings on behind the scene, and it's showing that it's a bit difficult. And in the center of what I see going on has a lot to do with some of the retrogrades, but especially with Saturn, because the overarching card that came out is by the book, and I was like, what? I thought that's quite strange. And you were like, and then I began to see what you were showing me. I have no idea what you're going to say here, but Saturn is showing up and you don't like the control that it's having over the regulations are having over your freedom and your sense of freedom right now. So we're here to work through the mind to begin to kind of unstitch you from that trap, that prison, kind of like being caught in the spider web. How do we free you from that so that you can have your true nature in the current situation? Because you were saying by the book, you're like, it's B-U-Y, by the book. I want my life to be adventurous. I want my life to be bold. I want my life to be fun and full of interesting character, interesting places, interesting people. So we need to work on that sense of interest. All right, where do we begin? I don't even know. They started to come out in pairs, really, because what would happen is when I split the deck and I go to shuffle, it is opposing energies. It's things coming together, kind of like pages in a book, right? And so the first set that we have coming out, the first page, right, that the opening of the book is here. All right. And you can see that moon is quite attractive, but what really draws the attention is the waves crashing into your kingdom. And this is like you in your kingdom going, don't bring that at me. I will cut you, bitch. I'm like, what? Cut you, bitch. What do you think's going on? You're like, I'm not taking any of that. And that's when you began to talk about Saturn, being really ticked off that Saturn is restricting your travel, is restricting your sense of freedom. You're having to muffle up your face when you go anywhere because you were one who really moved through the amnios of life, of people, of the environment, moving through the plasma of what's going on around. And the air has gotten kind of thin for you. That's what you're saying here. So it's beginning to batter your mind and it's beginning to wear on you a bit, and it's causing a bit of aggression, some uprising, frustration, really. And you're at your peak here. You're at your peak here. And the dark clouds are kind of starting to creep in. Can you see this kinetic electric energy? That's the frustration of your mind going on. We can't even really see where the shore is, but it's you going against the flow of what this modern time is at this moment. And even though everybody talks about this is the whole new whatever, yes, we have that big enterprise or that big Millennium Falcon coming in of the 200 years of air. And we've already been segueing into it for about 20 years. But there's also been the last 8 that have been eye-openers, should I say. But you had begun to get in the rhythm of that. And that's why this whole thing, this lockdown, this coming to a halt, screeching to a halt, you just chose to start elevating in the midst of it. And then you found like Saturn trying to speak and have its influence, its contact in your life to get you ready for what's coming. It has made you quite defensive. Okay. Very self-protective and in a sense kind of closed off and resistant. And you're like staying in your own vibe and your own channel and trying to bring this in, bring about what you've been seeing, focusing, dreaming, and pursuing for some time. Not forever in a day, but for quite a while, the way things had been. You managed to find your place in a certain part of the world. And like kind of how you make your money, your friends, that type of thing. And this has begun to get in the way. All right. So how do you want to do this? Okay, we're going to go on next. Well, here in the center, you see, there's more. Saturn is showing up as the snake to you. You're like, get rid of that thing. Get rid of that thing. I don't want that power. I don't like that thing having power over me. And this came along with it. So that's when you were like, B-U-Y, by the book. You like, I'm not going to sit here and play by the book, by rules. And I was like, oh, Daddy Saturn. I'm a Capricorn sun with a North Node in Sagittarius. So I can understand the struggle that you've been having during this time. Quite a bit of conflict. It's one of the most contrasting of energies is Saturn and Jupiter being together because it is the opposition, is the expansion and the contraction. But that's how we get the baby out. That's how we bring the dreams in. That's how we grow, ascend, and learn to navigate, kind of like the Wonkavator. He said, this isn't an elevator, it's a Wonkavator. It can go upways, sideways, downways, whatever. And that's what they're trying to bring into you, is to understand the true freedom. But like the Wonkavator, it doesn't just go like that. You begin to create a trajectory. So it has to do with lines drawn out in space. It's very kind of coming into the order of divine wisdom, channeling, Metatron, that type of energy. It's not a Sandalphon, and you were more used to Sandalphon, being able to disperse yourself into the particles of a room, where now you're having to go through channels like through the eyes, right? Because when people have a mask on, that's how you learn to connect and communicate. Oh. Okay. Some of you didn't mind being seen, but that's where this, I'm gonna cut you, bitch. Don't you look at me. Don't you look at me. Because that's what the cobra does. It spits the venom in the eyes, and you're like, you're not wanting to be seen. And that makes total sense, because now, here, that's what you were showing me, is it's coming up on your high heart. You see your sword, your definition, your delineation of who you are and how you've seen yourself and how you've navigated life is very much in that particle Sandalphon type energy. Now this whole new world is erupting and breaking. It ain't COVID, y'all. Don't be distracted. It's about that new cosmic order coming in. I see it like the Enterprise or the Millennium Falcon, like they could live on that ship, right? It was like a planet in its own self. Up in the air, it's coming in, it's moving in and changing out for the earth. That's what is opened up here. And you're like, I don't want to get my feet wet in that. I'm not too cool with all that, as we can see. Okay? But all you're seeing is red right now. Being frustrated with this going on. And of course, here it comes in. That's what the telltale sign was. It gave it away. The sorcerer, the death. I mean, not death, excuse me, the devil card. And you're like, I don't want to be played. And here you're like, switching me out, switching me out, switching me out, switching me out. I love y'all being so rebellious. That would have to be true with Saturn being in its kickback right now. Look at you speaking your mind. You're like, I'm going to speak it. It's my truth. I've lost my world. I've lost my ideals and how things operate and how I saw myself. I saw myself clearly, but I don't want others to see me clearly, because then we can connect and then I might fall in love and ride off into the sunset. Oh, what's that all about? Right, Saggy? So here, what Saturn's really trying to do is give you your wings, your ability to fry free from. To fly free. Oh my God, to get a light sense of humor, to lighten up at this time, to be able to travel cosmically in your mind and in your energy, but also to connect through the eyes and to bring the balance of your sun and your moon, so that you'll no longer be eclipsed, okay? Eclipsed by your own energy. And you're like, your ears kind of perking up like, what? That way you won't be sucked dry, run down, worn out, run over, all those type of things. Because you being so cosmically open, allowing all those sandalphon particle energies to move out of you and into you, and that there hasn't been a ton of discernment, because you've enjoyed walking through and working through those energies. But when you begin to see that eye to eye, to be able to see things and to know what is going on, it gives you a clearer picture of who you are in this modern world. Can you see these deeper stars coming in? Very strong, leaving from that earth connection into that air connection, and beginning to understand how this power and energy wants to work with you, not against you. Not sitting here playing tricks, flicking the lights, going, ghosty in the house, ghosty in the house. Yeah, I used to have one in college that would come and flick the lights off and on. You would hear the switch up and down, and you'd watch the lights go off and on, hear the giggle. It was a little creepy. So I've been walking this walk for a minute of like, okay, life, I'll let you go ahead and teach me about this. So you feel kind of like that going on here. But what you don't know is this is a cup of life being offered to you. It is like giving you the anti-venom. All right, the thing that brings you into balance with yourself and your own personal energy, and being able to kind of, they're saying, Genesis yourself, to bring yourself into your true balance, to let yourself be loved, to let yourself be joyful, to restore your soul song. And it's almost something that you don't quite even remember. It's from the first 2 or 3 years of your life that you adopted, and being so amniotic, so Sagittarian, that part of yourself of opening and breathing the world and breathing it in and out, it became a part of you. And you lost that sense of self, and you've gotten so far away from where you came from, is what you're showing me here. So how are we going to run this whole thing? I'll just keep going. All right. And the thing about the switch on, switch off, that's the contraction and expansion. Jupiter's the expansion, Saturn's the contraction. But what happens is when you take that massiveness, kind of like the baleen whale, you take this great mighty creature like Jupiter, right? And you take the little plankton like Saturn, and that whale opens its mouth and it keeps swimming along, and all that plankton, it just begins to inhale, right? And it takes a lot of it in. But in comes the contraction. Jupiter loves Saturn. You need to know that. And the mouth closes down and it clamps down around it. And that's that bit of tension that you aren't liking here, right? And then it begins to exhale of sorts, filter and siphon out the water, and just retain the plankton and then swallow. So that becomes your nourishment, your fulfillment, and the building of your body for you, without having to take on excess weighty things, other people's energies, their developments, their growth, their ghosts of sort, meaning the old specters of their mind, and having to do all that excess work and not really knowing yourself from the world anymore. Okay, so that begins to block and unlock. Remember, switch. You're like, what is it? That expansion, contraction is showing that there's a blockage against having intimate love, the one-on-one. We can call this the Two of Cups, but that's one-on-one right there. Leaving behind the old lonely shadow horse, you riding by yourself, like riding high, baby. I can take off whenever I want. You're saying when the getting gets good, but really it's when it got boring, stagnant, old, or someone got too close. You're ready to go. But here it's someone being so close, and that someone is you. jumping in on this, into your power, because that's what this is representing here, is your power to overcome, not just to overcome that energy, but to overcome any of these old. I wondered if one was going to go swimming for the floor. You got a bit of a deep dive going on here, is what you're letting me know. I know I was overcoming, but it's this mindset that you had. This mindset, that whole rules, regulations, that it was going to be limiting, it's going to pin you in, tie you down, that whole thing. That's with your will, against your will. You don't know how you feel about it. Someone's seeing you completely and clearly for who you are. But there's the echo of that moon is definitely reminiscent of what we saw in our very first card. So I will wait to get that till we get to that point, okay? And then that's also that hold up and block that you think is just against this intimate love of the one-on-one, of that full-on connection, of being able to overcome that mindset that formulated when you were around 3 to 4 years of age. Remember that true self, that thing that existed before this wave of being came about, this anti-venom of having once bitten, twice shy, that type of thing. I mean, that happened at such a young formative age that there's not even any recollection, which is why it makes sense that you would be defensive against this flow, this energy, this water. Okay, because water puts out fire, right? But if fire and water work together, it can cook things, it can boil things, it can sterilize things, it can help things. So many things it can do, but also fire and water can be the sun shining on you when you're in the pool, when you're at the beach, when you're in the stream, when you're in the creek, when you're in any of that good old stuff. And some of you are lucky enough to have it over your bathtub. But it's also blocking your dreams. It's putting them out before they ever even come to form. They're just allowed to be trapped in your head, trapped in your amnios, in the space right around you, but not to fully come in. And they're wanting to. Can you see this coming about up under here? This is really wanting to spin into motion, but it's that you've got a double mind going on, a two-faced heart, okay, a divided heart. But that's all you've ever known. That's what you're telling me. That's all you've ever known, is that divided heart. So some of you had a divided home. It doesn't matter whether they divorced or whether they stayed married. There was animosity going on in there, and strife, definitely strife divides a home. But a divided house falls. And that's the thing. You've fallen over and over again. No wonder you wouldn't want this love to come in, because you're like, I know how it is going to end up. So don't you even come near me. I'll be happy and fine all by my cosmic self. Loving the world, loving life, gonna have an adventure, buy the book. That's how you can get to know me. But don't you get close to me. You all saucy today. I love it. But that's also not only, okay, no, we're gonna stop there. I want to dive into your dreams. All right, that double-mindedness about your dreams for Saggy. Oh yeah, there's that invisible fuzz on my nose. It starts tickling. Don't you make fun of my hair now. I know I got these crazy curls, but it wasn't that. Ooh, your dreams. Okay. It's definitely screaming about not wanting it to be about you. Like the center of the show, the star, the attention getter, that type of thing. So there had to have been some pride in the home as well. Like anything about you had to be suppressed and sequestered and put away. No wonder you're not liking this time of sequestering, of quarantine, of the things of how you learn how to get along, get about, get around. Is in your home, it couldn't be about you, but yet somehow it always seemed to be about you. Like it was always you having to be responsible, to step up to the plate. You were also the one to blame when things didn't go well, didn't go right, when they went wrong. You grew up pretty fast. I wonder, generally that's a sign typical of either Scorpio or Capricorn going on your chart. So take a look at those placements, or maybe watch a few of those videos to get some of this like release. It's almost, remember how we talked, look at this mountain. So there's gorgeous mountains in the background, but look how rocky and dented this is. That's what I'm seeing go on in your back, like in the back of your ribs, causing you to be seized up. It's like your heart is constipated. It's just locked into place, frozen in fear, as if that is all it ever can be, and not like this type of a fear. It's just It's just a sensation that you're perceiving, and that's why it keeps playing out and has authority, because it came before you ever had authority, 3 to 4 years of age. But That's the thing. And it's time for your dreams to come forward. It's time for it to be about you. We're all the star of our show. We all are the book, right? And you already bought your book, baby. You paid for it. And this is your life. Step up, step forward, and shine. There are others coming along who can learn and grow from the way life played you, but also about how you begin to dance and move forth in life, all right? Because you see, we got good blue skies going on up here. It's no longer that sad song. You're wanting to be able to exert your freedom, your true freedom. Remember the wings that he's wanting to come along and give you is that lightness of heart, that lightness of mind, the true freedom where your sun and your moon see each other clearly and are in balance. All right. So you're constantly in a state of manifesting and not manifestation. Let me work for it. No. Manifestation, womanifestation, being yourself, your divine self. When we're in ourself, all the energies of life begin to draw to us and flow with us because our amnios is like a calling card. It's a megaphone. It is, you saying speakeasy. What's all that about? Yeah, it's ease. It's flow. So also what that sorcerer, what this energy of not knowing who you really were and who you really are, coming into the knowing of who you really are. Let me get this off my face. Okay, is also, it's facilitating your wealth. We could say it's blocking it, but let's go ahead and begin to change our dialogue here. For a time, everything that was in you had to go to everyone else. It's just been work, because this is evergreen. 24/7, you've been on call, baby, and you just been going, and you became fine with it. Remember, that's why you were so defensive here. That's why this whole COVID thing had you all frustrated and torn up. Is it was literally like, I can't go about things the way I've always gone about them. And Saturn is like, I know it. It's time to focus on you and to be about you, for your divine self to come forward, because with that comes your wealth and your provision for yourself. See, that's part of that cosmic egg. All right. Just as life was cracking open, at first it seemed like it was against you. It's actually for you, because this is inside that egg. This has been protected and saved all along for you. This is what that Lion's Gate was about Sirius rising up over the pyramids. Now, mind you, I knew nothing about that. They just kept talking about opening the pyramids. There have been things stored there for lifetimes waiting for you in this lifetime. And that's your riches and your abundance coming forth. All the lessons you've learned, all the things you know about yourself. And it's not just like, here's how I learned it. These are truths. That's why they're faceted. Can you see that? They're shaped and faceted. They bring forth the light, the shaping, the beauty, and the meaning that you assign and give to them. And all of a sudden I see your switch go flick, and it is flicked on, and you're like, okay. You mean I'm the world I am to open up to and pursue? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like that. Let's get a card on that. It came up. I had moved another one aside so that I could pull that around and look at it, and it pulled up this credit card, and it says jump on in, except it was coming in this way. So like, jump on up, come on in, join the show. Remember, it is about you. I'm going to put it that way so it does jump on in. It's like rooting down to rise up. All the things that you had stuffed down about yourself. Remember all those dreams? All those delicious things that you were sowing in your heart that'd been growing secretly for some time. Well, they erupted with this cosmic egg. They're already coming on out, so why not just let it come on out? Okay? Let me make a little room here. And so the other thing that's bringing in along with it is your future. Just wondering how you want me to say it. Your life, your fans, okay? So for some of you, there'll be notoriety that comes along with it. But even if there isn't, it's still being, remember, you're like, buy the book of my adventure. You're so magnetic and attractive, mesmerizing even, that it draws followers, whether you know it or not. Can you see them here in the background? Can you see it? And this is standing here, kind of like Odin and a bit of the Hierophant coming together, opening up the gateway to allow you to come in. And don't be distracted by all the rocks, by the path, by the log. It's literally, you know where you're going. Your heart song, remember your soul song, is bringing you home. It's drawing you in. It's drawing you into the mighty resources that are for you, that are coming your way. Your dreams are being drawn to you. Now you're moving forward on the path. So as you're drawing to it, it's drawing to you. It's like the rubber meeting the road, okay? It's a synergistic energy. So along with that, we have the Dreamer of Cups. This is where I need to grab that card. So hang on. Here's that deep dive, baby. Let's come on down and make our way back to the beginning. All right. So, because these were kind of, they're staggered and sort of shuffled around. You had done some rearranging. And this is like underlying energy of what was going on there. You just, after finding out what was going on all in the forefront of your mind, way up here, all the stuff that you've been feeling, we began to go ahead and convert that into the now, not what it's holding back from you or what it's keeping you from having. So now it's going to seem a little odd to step back into the underlying energy of what is going on. And so here we have the Dreamer of Cups and the Lady of Cups. All right, and they're apart from each other. Well, that's interesting. When I hold them up here, they look like that. Now down here, they're actually like this. So it's like a double. It's like a double dog dare. You're like, don't you dare. So this is you loving your idealism. Remember those dreams that had been put beneath the surface? That's kind of what we have going on here. Look at you. See, you aren't bothered in the least by what's going on here. It is your soul song. It is weaving around you. And that's why I knew that you had no need to be frustrated or put out by how Saturn was coming along. Because when you were a child, you just felt energy and you loved the energy. You loved how it fueled you. And you see how it springs out these wings here that the devil was giving you and bringing you. Because in this case, it's not playing the devil's advocate. Sometimes that could see what it's going to be, but there it had to do strictly with Saturn, bringing in that balance, that stability that you needed, that you have a home that embraces you, a home that is for you to keep you safe and sheltered. Not that the world is a big bad place, but a place where you can rest your head and it just be about you. You remember that book, You're the Star of the Show? Here you are that star. And you're getting that other set of wings. This is that sad song that you're shedding and you're letting go because those wings had grown limp. They didn't even know how to fly and how to soar anymore. But this is that uprising energy, that balance of the solar and the lunar coming along. And that wakens up your stardust, like your cosmic ovaries going on here, because in your heart is really one. Can you see you hold the world in your heart? You hold our world in your heart, and you were born high priest, high priestess. You were born dancing in this cosmos. In this one card, you can literally see all the cards across the top. Now you see why they call it the Mystical Dream Tarot. So this is you rising up from the soil, not even just from the ashes, but from the very center of the earth, where all these treasures come from. This is you. You are the treasure, rising up from the pyramid. You are the ancient resources. You are that song that's going to open the gate, is what you're talking about, Sagittarius. What gate? What gate? What gate? Well, like this gate. You're talking about this gate. So this is right where you are at here today. And this has to do with some foreign lands. And this could be cosmically, because we're so much in the purple here, and you can see we're up in the sky moving around through the plasma. This is a place you not yet know of. You do not yet know of. But remember, that's what we were talking about here. Your dreams are calling you, and you can see that sprinkling. You got all your fans that calling you forth into a whole new world, like a world that doesn't even exist yet, a part of yourself that hasn't even been watered, like a seed that hasn't even caught root yet, because you have forgotten what all you had stowed and stuffed away inside your fine self until it starts springing up before your very eyes. And you're like, what? And you're like, I don't care. It's so fantastic. I just love the world. I love the whole world. And that's your whole soul song. It's going along. Okay. Let me put these back down. And then we have the eights that are flanking some of this. So we have the Eight of Cups and the Eight of Swords. This is where you were before. This is what you have been stuck in before. So much loss, so much redirection and correction. That's why you just only kept this in your mind's eye, in the hidden dream world, kept it to yourself, because this is how things always turn out from you. You know, you dive in, you go on a great adventure, and then it swallows you up, right? That was just the Jupiterian. But your Saturn has come along to create that fantastic balance. But this was the only home you had, too. Remember, this is calling you into that beautiful place. This is your safe home. Life has got your back, baby. Just know that. Know that, know that, know that, know that. Know thyself. And this is how you made the hut through the hard work to protect and to keep yourself safe. But in a sense, it blinded you to your own personal truth. But we knew that. But you didn't know that because remember, it's from the earliest days. It was from 2-3 years of age. How could you have known any different? So this is why you're going through the underneath, down through the belly and the soul seat and the soul song to clear it out. It's almost like you're taking a eraser and you're erasing the composition that you had drawn on the page, when I'm really saying, you see that little fire pit over there? Here's a match. Burn it up. I got 50 million sheets that you could do. You got plenty of paper to keep writing the book. You're editing it. You're writing it. Nobody's reading it yet. They're just reading you. They're looking into those two eyes. You guys get to know you one-on-one. But the story's still being written. You know what? And that last stroke, that last dot, that last tittle goes on the day you leave this place. You know, so you've got plenty of paper, plenty of space, plenty of room to enjoy the expression of the day. But look at that. When you step out of this pattern that you were going in, this is really you. This is your soul here, at ease, comforted, in the open kingdom, in the light of your expression. Look at these trees. They're like, we got all the paper you could ever need. Nature has been here and has supported you all along. That's one of the advantage of having not had a formal official home, a divided home, meaning it was always falling and you were being left out in the cold, is that you're very comfortable with nature and with yourself. You just weren't comfortable with this new energy coming in of what does it mean, how do you operate, how does it work. And it's because life is coming along going, dance your dance, be your mesmerizing self. That's what spins the earth on its axis. That's what makes this world inviting, delicious, and beautiful. And that is what begins to take you on your true cosmic journey. Okay? You've already begun this, whether you know it or not, because even in the frustration, the fitting, and the fighting, you're progressive. Jupiter's progressive. You've still been moving forward, even though it feels like you haven't. You've been resistant in the face of it, but you've still been moving on. You're very cosmic, but they were ready to address you and have it be about you. And then this is it. So it's still in the quarter moon. It's just in the beginning phases, but you're getting comfortable with it pretty quickly. And we're knowing that because when Mars goes retrograde, it's going to be quite a favorable energy for you. It's going to be very much this, because this is sitting under here. It's going to switch you on, okay? And actually, it's going to give you the switch. You'll be able to handle this uprising energy, and it's not going to dominate you nor drive you about, because that's what Mars often does. Go here, go there, go here, go there. Impulse. And so now with Sagittarius, you're able to flow and have that, remember that cosmic flow that you have going on, and to not see it's under your submission. It's under your volition. And able to open up that channel and to get your footing in the direction of really where you want to go in this next phase of life. Not just phase of the moon. We're talking about like your progressed moon, okay? And your progressed moon stays in a sign for 28 months. So that's a pretty decent phase coming on. Right, but you're about to wrap up the one you've been in. This is the gibbous moon. And often we're so busy overlooking it because we're trying to find that full moon coming in, like, ooh, I'm ready for my manifestation, my dreams come true, or whatever, that we can miss the journey. You know, I want you to imagine this. So imagine that you've made some dough and you've let the dough rise and you're putting the bread in the oven and it's almost done. It's almost done and you smell it and it's fantastic and you pull it out of the oven, but that bread has to rest until you cut it. But that fragrance begins to fill the house. That's this fragrance. Okay, this is how this is looking on my countertop here. Whoops. Hang on. Y'all be at peace with me. I'm still learning and growing too. I need a blank sheet of paper. This is what you're becoming accustomed to, letting the fragrance of this fill the room, that life is for you, that you have time to have intimate personal relationship, a personal life, not just a life about the world. You have the safety of home, and the possession of who you are is here for you. Life is here for you. And this is your story, your song, okay? And just let that fragrance fill the room. Let it make your stomach start to rumble. Let it prepare you for imbibing in the intimacy, for the tasting and seeing, okay? So that's the prep of the journey. Getting you riled up and fired up, Sagittarius. I love it. Hey, we'll talk soon. Bye.